Hello, kids of Grace Church. So you have been following the journey of Jesus this week, which is Holy Week. And we started on Sunday with Palm Sunday, the triumphal entry, when Jesus entered in on the donkey, and the people were so happy they threw palm branches on the floor and their coats on the ground. And remember, when they said, Hosanna, the other people would say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. And all through that week, Jesus continued to work, healing people, going into the temple. And by Thursday, it was a special holiday. It was called Passover. And we call this Maundy Thursday. He had the Last Supper with his disciples. You remember when I told you a few days ago about when Jesus washed his disciples' feet? Well, this was the dinner when he did that. So he not only symbolized humility riding in on that donkey, but also washing their feet. And I told you they're celebrating a special holiday for their religion. It was called Passover. If you remember back in Sunday school a few months ago, we were talking about the Israelites and when they were in captivity by Pharaoh and they were his slaves, and Pharaoh was making them build bricks and work hard, slaving them away, and they just asked to be free. And so God chose Moses to help with that. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he wouldn't let his people go. So God sent different plagues, different sicknesses to their land. But the Israelites were all safe. But they did stay inside their homes one special night. One special night, the angel of death was to come. But if they had the blood of the lamb on their doorpost, and if they stayed inside, they would be safe. Well, and as you remember from Sunday school, Pharaoh finally decided to let them go. And that's when they went and they crossed the Red Sea and they were free from Pharaoh. Well, God told them to always remember that and to remember it by having a special ceremony called Passover. And maybe you are celebrating Passover with your family, remembering some of the items that they ate, some of the items that they wore. Well, Jesus and his disciples were celebrating Passover. And it was a simple meal. It was bread and some wine. And Jesus took the bread, just one simple loaf, and he lifted it to heaven, and he thanked God for it, and then he broke it. And it reminds me of when he was preaching to the thousands. They say there were 5,000 men, but if you count the women and children, it could have easily been 20,000 people. And there were just a few loaves of bread. But Jesus did the same thing. He lifted it to heaven. He thanked God for it, and he broke it. And it was enough for everyone there. There was even leftovers. And the amazing thing is, Jesus tells us on Maundy Thursday, the Last Supper, that this bread is his body broken for us, lifted up to heaven, thanking God for this sacrifice and broken for many, not only for those that were there, but there were leftovers for us that would come later on. After the dinner, Jesus would go on to the garden where he would pray. He told his disciples to stay awake and to watch over him. And he went in to pray because he knew what was coming. He knew that Good Friday was coming. Death on the cross. And we might think, well, how is that good news? How is Jesus dying for us on a cross, a very, very painful death? How can that be good news? Well, actually, because of his sacrifice, we can now be with him forever in heaven. We have this hope eternal that springs up in us, this living water, that because of his sacrifice, we get to spend eternity with God.